have an amazing announcement, which we're going to be making. And after that, I'm going to be inviting a great speaker also in our midst before we go into that. So, and that's about the youth-friendly standard. So last year we had an amazing speaker with us, which was Anushka Sinha, and she has been a great friend, mentor. I've been able to learn a lot from her. She currently works with with several organizations with the UN. So some weeks ago, I shared the link with her about ILC, that she should connect us with organizations that can help us. And that's how I got to learn about the youth-friendly standard. And ever since I learned about the organization, I've been amazed about the impact they're doing. And from their website, I got to learn about that the youth-friendly is defined as a practice or attitude that value a young person or a group of young people, whether by design or impact. And from learning about that, I was invited to an event they did, and I get to learn more about the youth-friendly standard. And I was like, they have to be at ILC this year. So today I'm going to be inviting Chineyenwa Okoro Onu Wyetey, who is the Chief of Staff for the youth-friendly standard. So she's going to be sharing with us about the youth-friendly standard, and I'm going to be honored to invite her today by reading her bio. And after that, we're going to get into our presentation and then go into the plenary. So Chineyenwa is a structural strategist, social entrepreneur, and a business enabler with over 15 years of experience. Her expertise in cultivating resilience through strategic objectives and structural processes has empowered organizations to achieve competitive advantages and transformative goals. Driven by a commitment to global prosperity and positive change, Chineyenwa's impressive portfolio includes projects exceeding $100 million, showcasing her ability to drive significant impact. She has significantly impacted global leadership organizations, civil society, and both the private and public sectors. Our core value of authenticity, transparency, partnership, and collaboration guide our mission to create a future where African individuals, businesses, communities, and economies thrive. Thank you very much, Chineyenwa, for coming. We appreciate you, and thank you for the support. Our YFS did an amazing job in publicizing this event. We are very grateful. Thank you for working with our team, and thank you for being here today and for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Accra, Ghana, where I'm joining you from. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Samuel, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay, yes, fantastic. Thank you all so much. I've been on the call since the beginning of the session, and I must say it's been very impactful. Just listening to all of the speakers, from Matt to the doctors. I mean, really just learning from all of your change journey is really inspiring. So in the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you guys what the youth-friendly standards is about. Samuel and the team, is it okay to share my screen? Yes?
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Okay, just a moment. Got it. Okay, hopefully I can do that smoothly. I'm trying to present. Okay, you got it. All right, thank you. So once again, I'm here representing the youth-friendly standards. And like Samuel graciously read my bio, I am a collaborator and enabler. I work with organizations and institutions who are passionate about driving change. And the youth-friendly standards happens to be one of those institutions. The youth-friendly standard is a baby, I would say. Just a year ago, we launched this initiative, Reimagining Youth Involvement. Our goal and objective basically is to enable and support young people. I'm sure most of you here would identify as young or a youth. But then I would say that if you are someone who has gone through a certain phase of your life where you have to think about what you want to do with yourself, your life, your education, your purpose, then definitely you've transitioned through the phase of a youth. And statistically, I mean, a youth is classified someone who is between the age of 14 to 45, I think, or 40, but correct me if I'm wrong. So if you're within that age bracket, trust me, you're 100% still a youth, right? So the question here really is, for YFS is, what if every young person, right, has a voice, right, has a potential, has a dream, and, you know, they were given that opportunity to be heard? Today, one of the most significant thing I heard from all of the speakers is the ability to put out their message forward. And I could tell that it wasn't an easy process, right? It was a struggle, really just trying to make sure that people can see you for what you're bringing to the table beyond just being a human being with knowledge and skill, but then provide you with an opportunity where you can, have the same playing field, right? Because you know what you're about, you know who you are, you have the ability to share your message. So the youth friendly started we started asking ourselves, what if we could create a world where young people weren't just leaders of tomorrow, but leaders of today? What are the experiences of our lived experience, right? What really is the value of our lived experience? And when I talk about lived experience, I'm talking about most of the times, many young people are classified by the education that they have, the skills that they have, where they've been, but they're not considered about the life that they have lived, the experiences that they have every single day in their families, in their lives, in their community, right? How do we value those experiences? And most importantly, how can we engage them across all areas? So this is the question that the Youth Friendly Standard we're asking ourselves. And then we realize that to do that, youth have to have the right to access resources, opportunities, and support. It's non-negotiable, right? We're not saying, oh, because this person has a PhD, or they have a master's, or they graduated with first class or no class, they have the right to have fair access to resources and opportunity. The second one is they have the right to lead and be given this opportunity. It should be a default, right? They have the right to be heard and respected. We live in a society today where if you're a young person, you're considered as someone who does not really think right. Your decision making is based off your age, but they're not giving you a fair chance where your head and your side of the story, is considered. And youth friendly is asking themselves, is it that every young person we don't consider certain things, we don't think, So we started asking ourselves that, and we said, you have the right, you have 100% right to be heard, you have 100% right to be respected. And one part is you have the right to compensation for the meaningful contribution without creating a sense of entitlement, right? Some of us, it's there, right? But you have the right to be compensated. Lots of the opportunities that are available to young people today are based on volunteerism. And even within those volunteerism, you're not even compensated for maybe your transport, feeding, you're not considered, right? So we're saying that you have the right to be compensated. You have the right to be a valuable member of society. And this is what drives the youth-friendly standards to create this initiative. And just last year at the UN General Assembly, in collaboration with some of our torchbearers that I will be talking about today, we launched the youth-friendly standards, right? And the standards is a process, pretty much a system-based approach where we look at intersectionality lens, right? To help organizations with their relationship with young people, right? Within their programs, within the products and the services that they provide. Lots of organizations today just categorize young people in a bunch. So we want young people in our conferences. As what, right? Are they speakers? Are they valuable members of these institutions or these organizations? Are you even considering them? So with the simple objective of to ensure more effective and inclusive cooperation with youth, the youth-friendly standard stands to exist. Translating youth engagement into long-term value is one of our core objectives. Providing clear information for stakeholders, setting at least minimum standards for youth inclusion, where youth are not just tokenized because of their youth, they're within an age bracket, or they have so and so, vibe and energy that they bring into anything that they do. That's why they are considered, right? But acknowledging and recognizing the efforts and value that young people bring to the table. And I think that translates into leadership and everything that has been spoken about, here today. So it's a very, very, very critical component. And that's really kind of like what the youth-friendly standards is thinking about and in doing so. And in the beginning of today's presentation, Samuel talked about the importance of frameworks. I always talk about that as a structural strategist. I believe that everything has a framework, right? You need to have a framework, a guiding principle that helps you translate impact, translate outcome. And that's really kind of like what the youth-friendly standard also did. We have 6 frameworks that look at how organizations or individuals work with young people. And one of which is governance, right? How does organizations set up their governance system? You hear lots of organizations, even in Africa, our Minister of Youth is almost 100 years old, and you're asking yourself, what impact, does this person even understand what a typical young person face in our society today. You understand? So how do we establish governance that promotes identification and integrating youth perspective, right? Institutional partnerships. So many organizations say they drive youth perspective, youth partnerships. How many youths do you have in your board, right? How many partnerships have you formed with youth, schools, educations, centers, communities? How are you working with young people? Human resource, the elephant in the room when we talk about jobs and opportunity. You hear you're going for a job for the first time and they're asking you for 100 years experience when you've not even given them the opportunity to try. We live in a society where youth are not given the opportunity to make mistakes at all. And once you make mistakes, you're out. But how then do you build how then do you build the capacity that you need to grow in your society? So this framework also looks at human resources, how organizations develop policies specifically to consider young people. Then there is community development. How are young people involved in the various segments of local initiatives and discussions? And then there is business relations. Have organizations adopted specific policies, selection criteria that facilitate and support youth-led initiatives? So these are the frameworks really that the youth-friendly standards look into when we started developing our systematic approach to how organizations, institutions, governments work with young people. Now, looking at that and talking about all of these different frameworks, because it is very, very, very important, right? We tend to ask ourselves a very specific question. What role does each individual play in ensuring that the youth-friendly standards is not just another youth inclusion initiative? For most of you who don't know, for the first time, just last year, the UN just launched its first youth office. We've never had youth office in all these decades of when the UN has been operating. It is now that the youth office was created. Why is that? It's because young people are beginning to understand their power. They're beginning to learn the value that they bring to the table. And whether you believe it or not, people are listening. So what is the value exchange that you bring? Within the YFS framework, we're talking about different ways at which young people can continue to collaborate with us, can continue to co-create with us, and can continue to support the initiatives that we drive. Now, I know that we're out of time. I would have gone through the 4 steps, which is the pathways at which you or organizations that you represent can collaborate with YFS. But I'm going to just first of all go into knowing your role. What role can you play? Now, as I mentioned, YFS is a baby. I keep saying YFS is a baby because considering the kind of impact that we've been able to immerse in this short possible time, I believe that, with more collaboration and more support, more of you can help us expand and can help us get to more countries. Currently, we're working in West Africa, East Africa, in Europe and Asia Pacific. We want to be able to work beyond just regions, but work in specific areas where impact can be measured. And how you can do so is by being part of our Global Youth Council. Now, Samuel, thanks to Anushika, who is our youth lead, is part of our community of champions, right? Join our community of champions. I'll be sharing the link on the chat. Join our WhatsApp community of champions. What we're doing there is in the next, before the end of the year, we'll be screening our first team of members who are going to be actively part of the YFS board. Now, I'm not saying committee, I'm saying board. You'll be part of our decision-making, core decision-making within the organization. So if you know that you're a youth leader, you're driven, this is the time to join us, make yourself known, show the impact that you bring to the table, and you have the opportunity to be part of our Global Youth Council. And I think I just talked about, YFS Committee of Champions. Right now, we have a Committee of Champions that is still growing, which is exciting. We've only had just one town hall meeting, and we're looking to have another one before the end of the year. So participate, collaborate, lead projects. It is led by you guys, right? We're just enablers. So we're asking you to take the bull by the horn, join us in reviewing, the tools and the opportunities that we're bringing out to help organizations know how to engage you better. And then the last and the important one, which is one that I'm excited to share for the first time on this page, is something we call the YFS Adopt Action Partners. Now, you're going to be trained for 6 weeks to understand every single thing that has to do with the youth-friendly standards, our assessments, our transformation programs, even the certification. Now, that's the part that I didn't mention here because I'm trying to make sure that we work within time, is that you're going to have every single skill that requires you to be a valid partner of YFS. And that means that you tomorrow can walk into any office with the certification for YFS and say, how are you engaging with young people? You can ask your collaborators and your partners, what does this mean to you beyond just giving me that grant and giving me that opportunity? I heard Dr. I think Olumiwa talked about, having to prove himself that he had what it takes to set up, scholarship, his scholarship institution. Now, we don't need people to validate us as young people. We have our own specific mindsets and change journey. Look at how the Gen Z now, are transforming the space, are coming up with ideas and things that people have never really thought about. Now, this is what we're thinking. This is what we believe that UI can bring up to the table. So get licensed by us to apply youth-friendly frameworks within organizations everywhere in the world. And we're looking forward to launching that platform before the end of the year. So if you're part of our community of champions, you can have the opportunity to get trained at no cost, right? At no cost. I have to be very clear on that. And for our collaborators, I see a lot of doctors and PhD holders here, and all of you doing awesome and amazing things. We need you. We invite you to collaborate with us to develop our ATT pathways. Now, the ATG pathways is the adopt, which is where we're asking organizations to adopt youth-friendly standards within their operations and the different things that they do. Assess. Now, after you've adopted the youth-friendly standards, you have to be assessed. You can't keep saying, oh, be youth-friendly, be youth-friendly. How youth-friendly are you yourself? How youth-friendly is your organization? So we will assess you. After you've been assessed, then we find out, okay, where your challenges are within the 6 thematic frameworks that we have. And then, you initiate a transformation, which is also led young people. And then you can get a certification that you can boldly put out and say, I am an organization that is youth-friendly. I'm not youth-friendly because I have 1 or 2 young people working in my organization, no. But because within my HR, within my institutional partnerships, young people are leading, right? Then we have resource mobilization. We cannot do this all by ourselves. So we need resources, we need funding, we need personnel, we need individuals who can, I don't want to use the word volunteer, but who can consider themselves as equity partners, right? Within YFS, right? To provide us with your skill sets to help us with the resources we need to secure commitment for the youth-friendly standards. And communication and visibility, just like one that we're doing with the Impact Leaders Connect, effective strategies to help us promote YFS far and wide. We need youths who are influencers, who are media experts who can help us find ways and different ways to come up with strategies to put out youth-friendly standards. We need all of you. Our touch bearers are organizations and institutions who are currently partnering with us to scale up the youth-friendly standards. And I want to say thank you, first of all, to Impact Leaders Command. Samuel, thank you for facilitating this. I think it's important. And hopefully your logo will be there as touch bearers, by the next time. But Consortium Jeunesse is the key touch bearer for the youth-friendly standards. We have Generation Unlimited, We Bridge Africa, MasterCard Foundation, the EU International Youth Foundation, and of course, UNICEF. So these are the organizations that we are partnering, and these are organizations who are committed to us and are saying that we cannot just talk about how youth is important in scaling our economics, our environment, and our communities, but also how youth, have a value that is beyond just inclusion and partnership. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you're interested in being part of the youth-friendly standards, please follow us right now on our social media. Our website is at youthfriendlystandards.com, and reach out to us. We're always open to collaborations. We're always open to partnerships. We're always open to any new ideas that can help us propagate the core message that youth indeed have a value that goes beyond their age, but one that comes to promote and expand the economy and our communities and the world at large. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope this has been very helpful. Wish you all the best.